So last Thursday, we just got the 2-star dungeons. A lot of you might be struggling with them, especially the new one, Carmine Rage Island. Not just because of the mechanics, but the sheer amount of damage you take if you mess up in the slightest bit. So many of these bosses have fury attacks, which they can even use back to back to back, that easily one-shot you, depending on your HP. Even this boss in particular has a damage soak. You have to take the damage, you have to have enough HP to survive, or you're dead. That's why getting some extra health can be super important. In this video, I'm going to cover exactly what starter gear I recommend for your 2-star dungeons, and this is something you can use for your alts because it should not cost you more than 1,000 Lucent. This will ultimately get you upwards of 20,000 health on simply just blue armor and accessories. I made this build on Questlog and you can indeed see upwards of 18,000 health, which should get boosted if you get the party matchmaking effect, which unfortunately right now we don't have for 2-star dungeons. It does show in the random queue that you should gain that 10% extra health and damage, but it's currently bugged and we don't. So if, like in the 1-star dungeons, we actually get that, this build will get you upwards of 20,000 health. Again, this is a setup of super easy items to obtain and technically all blue. I personally haven't gone back to get the Imperial Ring when this one is basically the same, and I made sure not to level up the trait higher than 450 health, so you get the exact same amount as if you were using the Imperial Ring. But overall, this is the calculations and why it shouldn't cost you more than 1,000 Lucent. In order to obtain all these items, it's very simple. And yes, you may see I'm using a different headpiece, and technically the Gloomguard one is better. That's why I recommend it. But this one will suffice. Same amount of hit points, it just has hit chance instead of crit chance. You can see the Gloomguard helmet you'll simply obtain from the Secret Dungeon Spectre's Abyss or Death's Abyss here. Your Warlord Shroud, you can get it from the 2-star dungeon Void Wastes right now, but also when killing these living armor foot soldiers in Silas Abyss. Your plate armor of resistance you will very simply get from your lithograph book if you haven't done so already. You'll simply craft all of these green items and then claim it. You can see me do exactly that here. We have a look at which ones we actually need, go to your crafter, select those chests, and then go and simply craft those. If you're looking for the materials like the lithographs, you can simply purchase them from your contract coin merchant here. So we craft those green items. If you do get a great success like we just did, you can actually sell the item. But crafting all of the green ones, adding them all to the book, gives us that blue armor piece. You then need the Resolute Crusader gauntlets. You will simply kill Dark Enforcers in the Shadowed Crypt. Then your Trousers of Resistance, you will simply just get that again from the lithograph book, exactly like you did with the chest piece. Just craft the green items with your standard lithographs and claim it. Your Shoes of the Resistance, you'll do the exact same story, also from the lithograph book. Then we get to our accessories. So your necklace, the Ornate Choker, you will get either from Valley of Slaughter dungeon, but that's already a 2-star dungeon. We're prepping for that, so we will kill these Aeromancers in the Sanctum of Desire. Then your bracelet here, you need to go to either the Roaring Temple or Death's Abyss again. You will also get the Platinum Skullband ring that you want here, with then your Imperial ring coming from these Steel Claw Abominations in Silas Abyss. And finally, the Gladiator Girdle. You simply go to the Silas Abyss again, kill these living armor lancers and get it. Keep in mind the bracelet you can actually also get from the lithograph book right here. So now you have all your gear. That's the easy part. The expensive part comes when you want to trait it. You want to max trait it. So all of these pieces give 450 max health. You may also want to improve the necklace and the 2 rings to have skill damage boosts, as that will help a lot for your damage output. As tanks, not such a priority as long as you can still hold threat. And you can use this food here, super simple to make, just here with your cooking and these ingredients. And it is just a utility food, so you can still stack it with another defense food or attack food. So what I recommend in order to trait these out the most cheapest way possible is whenever you get that new item, go to the traits here, and you want to re-roll the trait if you don't get maximum hit points. Unless you get, say, skill damage boost, maybe that can be still very useful, and then you'll have to unlock the trait by buying a duplicate that has the trait. Here we get the trait, and there you go. And then we just need to upgrade that trait. For this, you just need trait extracts or duplicates with the same trait. So here we just got 2 trait extracts from the auction house. These were the prices when I bought my traits, and you can see the total. Since you unlock the trait basically for free with the trait conversion stones or get lucky when it drops, you can then save that Lucent to then only need to buy 2 of the trait extracts to be able to upgrade it to its maximum. That's why you can see the HP trait cost, and times 2 of that is the total. And that again gives you your build with over 18,000 hit points, and so you'll find it a far easier time to actually survive in these 2-star dungeons without just getting one shot all the time. You can misclick, you can mistime your dodges, your blocks, still take some damage and not outright die. Even getting hit by this dodge attack, we didn't die because we just about had enough HP, but then we got hit again and we did die. If we had a bit more HP, we would have survived. These dungeons can be super punishing with the serious amount of fury attacks you need to dodge. Sometimes they'll do like 3 in a row, 4 in a row. You might not have enough stamina to dodge every single one, and you're going to have to tank 1 or 2. You might get a spike of lag and get an extra hit. So the worst thing that you could do going into these 2-star dungeons is not have enough hit points and get one shot by everything, and then you're just out and have to continually restart the fight. It is far better, even if you're sacrificing some damage, to be able to just take a hit or 2, because mistakes happen. As long as you're surviving, you'll always be outputting damage and you'll get through the fight eventually. It might be a little bit slower than if you had maximum damage and you played perfectly. But again, for the average player, for the average run, it is far better. It takes a few minutes more, and you successfully complete without wiping. Now, you don't need to go all in and get every single piece of item and get upwards of 18,000 or more hit points. You can, of course, switch some things out from this specific build. You can clone it and go for some more damage options. For example, instead of these boots, I could go with my Field General boots that I have and my Field General armor piece that will give me some extra melee heavy attack chance, which will boost my damage significantly. If I already have some purple rings kitted out with maximum skill damage boost, I can potentially go with those, which will also have some more, say, stat points here, attributes, which can help me gain a bit more damage as well. It's just the issue with purple gear is the traits are so expensive for that maximum hit points. So we're talking about upwards of nearly 10,000 Lucent to get all these max HP traits to barely get as much hit points as all this combination gives. If we make a comparison between this blue gear setup with, say, 18,000 health, 20,000 when we consider the matchmaking bonus, versus a more damage orientated build that's only going to have like 11,000 health with the Q bonus 12,000. What you do find is you lose, about 37% damage going from like a min-max damage build down to this max HP blue gear. However, this damage gear requires you to have obtained that gear from, say, the 2-star dungeons, so you probably won't even have these yet. You could have purple gear that gives hit points, but again, you run into the issue of the traits being super expensive, and you're just better off having blue gear, which has hit points, and the traits, which are significantly cheaper. So the starter gear I highly recommend is at the very least a mix of this so that you're at least 15,000 health. So you won't be getting one shot by every bleeding mechanic, because that's the most terrible thing here. I've played lots of random queues at this point, and there's always a few people who are just getting knocked out right near the beginning because they just simply don't have enough hit points. They misclick and fail to dodge once and they're out, and that's just terrible. Don't do that, guys. Make sure you have a little bit more hit points. Get to that 15,000 at the very least. I started myself doing these dungeons on only like 10,000. It's doable, but you need a perfect run. You need a team that's patient with you, because you're absolutely going to be wiping, because you're going to fail like a fury attack at the wrong moment and just die. It will help a bit when they actually fix the random queue to gain the party matchmaking bonus, which they currently state you should gain, but we actually don't, because then we'll all gain about 1,000 hit points, up to 2,000 hit points if you even have nearly 20,000. And especially as a tank, do not go into these without like nearly 20,000 health, because those bosses are pretty punishing. They hurt you like a truck, and you'll be taxing your healer so much by not having enough health to just tank the hits. And your health is also going to relate to boosting your defensiveness through your passives and things like that. Overall, I hope this video helps. Again, you don't need to get every single item, because you don't really need 18,000 health. 15,000 will probably do, but the more the better, the more likely you will survive throughout the fight rather than just dying off completely. Make sure you're of course using your Stellarite. You can go with the green ones if you have plenty of it, but otherwise always have these 10% ones. Make sure you got your World Tree leaves, and make sure you got your health potions. Ideally, you'll go with the bigger health potions that you get through your guild, healing 2,400. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.